All right, this is for quiz number 3 of Audio 1, and we are on to talking about speakers and fundamentals and some of these things that are going to be important to us. We're going to start with the standby, something we've talked about already to get us oriented. Humans can hear 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's the frequency range that we are talking about. And if you're still a little fuzzy on that, look up some of our EQ plugins maybe, or some of the other things that we've talked about in class to get the idea in your head that will help you out to have 20 hertz on the low side and 20 kilohertz on the high side. Okay, moving on. So, when we have a speaker or a microphone that reproduces all of the frequencies accurately, right? It does a good job of whatever it's taken in, it's putting it out just exactly the same way. We have a few words that we use to refer to that. Flat, I think, is the first one I'm going to give to you. A flat frequency response means just exactly that. Whatever we put into it, it's the same thing coming out. Linear, along the same lines, if that's talking about the graphs that we would have looked at in class, where it shows the input versus the output, and if the line is flat, it's good. Transparent is another word that we use, right? That it's like a piece of glass that we can see straight through. It's not distorting it at all. Flat, linear, transparent, all about the same thing, meaning reproducing all of this, the frequencies accurately. Now, we do have some speakers and some microphones that do not reproduce all the frequencies accurately. The first reason you might have that is because it would be just a cost-saving measure, right? Our earbuds that we listen to things in, we know they're not completely accurate, but we don't care because they're cheap. But that's not the answer that I want you to put for this question. The question is that sometimes we do want to use a speaker or a microphone that does not capture all of the frequencies the same way, and that's so we can accent certain frequencies. Okay? Probably the first thing that comes to my mind about that is a kick drum microphone, right? We want to get the low frequencies. We do want some of the high frequencies, but not the same way we want in like a vocal microphone or something else that's going to reproduce all the sounds the same way. The other are those oral tone speakers, like the little tiny speakers that you see in these big, fancy, expensive studios. Why do we have little crappy speakers that don't sound so good? And that is so you can check your mix on it where it accents those certain frequencies. It accents the mid frequencies, the higher frequencies, and see how it does. Does your bass translate well enough even on those little tiny speakers? Okay. The last two are having to deal with an exercise that we should have done in class, where we listen to the different frequency ranges, okay? And the very lowest ranges that we can hear, 20 hertz to 80 hertz, that's where down there, the only thing living down there are going to be the fundamentals of the kick drum and the bass guitar or the bass synth, whatever our bass sound is. Now, yeah, that gets into a whole discussion of fundamentals that I think is coming up in another lecture or two. But that's the lowest sound, the lowest part of the sound, what we usually think of as the base of the note. And you can hear those up in the higher frequencies, but the fundamental, the basic notes of the kick and the bass guitar are down there in the 20 to 80 hertz range. Now the very highest range, the 2 kilohertz to 18 kilohertz, that's I've got it listed here as the cymbals and the sibilants. Sibilants is like an S sound, those sounds. There are other sounds that live up there too because of those, the partials and the harmonics and the other higher frequency parts of the sounds are going to live up there, but for today, what we're going to talk about, we're just going to get the symbols and the sibilants. Okay, so that was quiz number 3. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.